tell me if you agree or disagree. Right now,
Agree.
there are a ton of good animes who aren't getting second seasons, and a few bad ones that are getting second seasons. Do you agree with that statement? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to. Oh, you killed the hype. Welcome back to Irbal Sinergy's The Shop. I'm your host, Sinji. With me, as always, the sound master, Irbal.
It's a me.
It's a
What's going
you.
on, captive audience? Hope everyone's doing swell.
I'm sure they're having a great time.
They might be. You don't know.
I don't know.
You know nothing about them and what's
You are
going on in
absolutely right.
their lives.
Their
But yeah,
time, their freedom, their whatever you want to say.
yeah, that's right. But yeah, getting on into the swing of things here, sipping on some tea. What's your flavor?
My flavor be uh might be Kafka stabbing himself in the chest.
Word.
Yeah.
That was a touching scene.
Was a touching scene.
Yeah, I might have to give mine to Boruto. The ending, I was like, oh man, what?
Such an array of emotions. Array of like, oh damn, oh damn, oh damn, oh damn.
I was like, yeah, nah, I might have to buy some coins so I can watch the next episode.
I'm glad you can't do that on Shonen Jump.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna buy it. But I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to
I wouldn't have
to
the
read
funds
the
for
next
it.
one. Yeah, you wouldn't. Also, yeah, Rose did some interesting stuff this week too, and
Rose
Jujutsu.
did Jujutsu definitely, but Rose did. I have mixed feelings about the flashback episodes.
How do you have mixed feelings about said episodes?
Um, I feel like they're trying to make you get emotionally attached to characters that no longer um are no longer parts of what's going on. They are for Rose, I guess, but I already liked Rose. I didn't really need a reason to like sympathize with her. You could have just like you could have like summarized what happened in the past, and I would have, me personally, my opinion, I would have been okay
I
with it.
mean, aren't that what they're doing anyway?
No,
Summarize
it's
what
taken a couple
went
episodes.
past. I don't know. Sometimes summaries are long. Takes a little bit to tell everything that happened.
Yes, but like assuming this is a 12 episode season. Now, if it goes to 24, okay, all right, it makes more sense, but this doesn't seem like a 24 episode anime, you know what I mean? It seems more like a 12 episode season anime, so like you only get 12 episodes to conclude season 1, and you have to figure if like going on the assumption that like a director producer always changes things. The flashback is probably something. What if the flashback is something they prolonged and they took out something that was like really cool? You know what I mean?
Maybe, but you can't really understand Rose unless you understand who she is and what she went through to get where she is, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could have,
I mean, if you just
because
summarize it,
they didn't really show her bonding with them. They just showed their trust in her, and that she's still super strong. And now you can see her eye.
uh, I think they did show the trust in her, because she. It's little nuanced things like Rose isn't like overly.
affectionate and things like that.
Yeah, and so like when she like flicked old girl with the bean and healed at the same time, that's like she cares. Like she didn't really want to hurt her, but like she feels affection for the folks. So like she to me she was a little bit different in a sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, but yeah, gotta know her and gotta know her story. Some things are I mean, you could just be like, oh yeah, her whole platoon died, which they did earlier, allude to that. But it's like, you don't really feel it. Uh, you don't really feel it unless you see it. But also at the same time, it's like yeah, like, do you really have to get attached to people in flashbacks because you already know they're dead? So what's the point of getting attached to them? So
Right.
I don't think
Right.
that's the aesthetic they're going for. I think they're world building and character building in this, so you know the type of person she was and the deep ache of loss she felt when she felt like she left her platoon and everyone got hurt, injured, or died.
And don't get me wrong, that's cool. Like I'm with world building and like story building, but like so like right now nowadays, like okay, all right. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Right now,
Disagree.
there are a ton of good animes who aren't getting second seasons and a few bad ones that are getting second seasons. Do you agree with that statement?
Not necessarily. So I would say no.
Okay, well, as my opinion, there are a ton of good animes that aren't getting like us like don't have another season lined up. Like the kid from the Boonies, one with Lloyd,
Yeah.
that wasn't really entertaining. It gave like it touched a little on his background. Like I feel like for these newer animes, if they're not gonna be like a Naruto, they're not gonna be like a One Piece, if they're not gonna be like a Dragon Ball, if they're not gonna be like a Bleach, if they're not gonna be like an Inuyasha, if they're not gonna constantly come out weekly to the point where like, okay, you have me invested to like I do want this backstory. If they're not gonna do that, if you have to make this show as interesting and as captivating as possible in 12 episodes so that it succeeds to the point where there can be a second season. Give me that backstory in the second season. Give me as much action as you can in the first season so that it attracts the attention from like I feel like the younger generation so that it does get a second season. Cause like as of right now, I like the show. I don't like it enough to read the manga.
Say, but would you want someone to dictate to you how you want your story to be told?
No, not at all.
Exactly. So you just gotta let them tell their story how they want to tell it.
But if they told me, okay, so like, um, if as you know, I wrote Yoru's story first and then Okami's story. So like that's kind of like how I was trying to publish it. But like if a group of people told me, hey, we think Okami's story should be published first because it's more, it grabs, we feel like it'll hold attention more and then pull interest to Yoda's story. I'll be like, all right, that's understandable. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It'd be telling the story not out of order per se, but like not in the order that I told it.
Hmm.
Or the same with like Boruto, how Boruto started, and like you had that scene with Kawaki and Boruto, and like they were growing up. Like if someone told me, "Hey, this scene you have way later, not even in the first season. Um, this scene you have not even in the first season. Put it in the beginning. This will capture people's attention long enough to get through your setup." All right, that makes sense. If it makes sense, that makes sense.
I mean, that was his artistic vision. So
Well, we don't know that. We don't know if it's in the manga.
it was.
You read the manga
Yeah. I started reading it, dog.
to the
Couldn't wait.
the wrong way to use
Oh, I
healing.
didn't know about that. I'm just saying in general. like for Boruto, that's the way he wanted to go through, so he did
Yeah,
it
yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I know that. I was just like using it as example.
Yeah. Well, your example didn't cut the mustard.
Mustard on the beat. I mean, carry on.
Yeah. No, you was the one talking.
I was.
Yeah. You talked about because you just went on a tangent. So I had nothing to carry on from or to.
I see.
Yeah. Sir.
All right. So, what shall we talk about?
Whatever your heart contents to. You got two things to talk about. So get it snacking, baby.
I got two things to talk about.
Yep.
What else do I have? Oh, Windbreaker. You said but you didn't watch it, or
So
did you?
what?
No, I ain't talking about it if you ain't watch it.
Nah, just go ahead and talk about it, dog.
Nah, I ain't talking about it.
People got to know.
I'll talk about frame failure instead.
Nah, go ahead and talk about that windbreaker.
Nah,
Yeah, dog.
nah.
Now you changing what you want to talk about. Now you letting the audience dictate how you want to tell your story.
Nah, I'm letting you dictate what story I want to
Nah.
tell.
Well, if you let me dictate, you be talking about windbreaker, but you ain't.
Well, I'm letting your lack of watching Windbreaker dictate me talking
Mm,
about Windbreaker.
maybe, maybe not. Well, pick something to talk about it, dog.
I'm gonna just do a quick run through Failure Frame because I had the manga prior to the anime coming out. So I want to give my quick opinions on the first 3.5 episodes and my likes and dislikes and what you all can expect from it for here on out. So I think Pete said it best. Failure Frame is almost I feel like a carbon copy of Alpharetta, I think is how you say that.
Afureta.
Yeah. And it's just this whole class gets transported into a new world and one guy becomes a reject or like gets betrayed and he was like and they both ended up in like dungeon type areas in Frame Failure to Ruin. I think in Alpharetta it was a dungeon or something like that. And they both become OP, although in Alpharetta he has like OP abilities, whereas in Failure Frame he has very basic and what they portrayed to be weak abilities, but like they just became really, 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 really strong. Because apparently in the like the hardest ruin in the region, and his abilities are he can apply status effects, which the goddess told him is useless, but he can apply sleep, poison, and paralyze. Weird effects of those things is you can't like use them more than once on one target. So I don't know if there's like a cooldown period. So like if he used sleep on a monster and the monster woke up, he can't use sleep again on that monster. At least not right away. I don't know if there's a cooldown and it can eventually, if he leveled it up enough, maybe he can hit them twice. But that's how he survived that dungeon, that ruin, using sleep, paralysis, and poison to all the strong monsters, and like he leveled up exponentially, a ridiculous amount. So like I like it. I like the story. The story's from what I remember is following the manga so far. Um, I don't like, and I said this back in Overlord. There's this, and I can only imagine it's to save money on the budget. There's this weird CGI thing they do from time to time when like characters are just walking. There's not much going on, and like the change in graphics is very noticeable. And for me personally, I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. It looks a little clunky. It looks wonky. It looks dated. It's probably to save some money. It kind of looks like Almost looks like Ruby. I watched this anime a long time ago called Ruby. And it was an interesting story. The action was pretty entertaining. It was just hard to get around the graphics, and it sucks. It sucks that like graphics is a thing that like bothers me from time to time. It's just like but I at the same time like knowing how far technology has come and like what they're capable of, and like if they're using CGI, I assume it's CGI. If they're using whatever they're using because they think it makes it look better, I man, I'm kind of scared for the direction we're going with some things. But if they're using it to save money, just like I don't know, man. Just I feel like people were doing this a long time ago, and um, I imagine it's easier to do. Like I imagine the funds to remake Dragon Ball the same way Dragon Ball was. The cost is significantly less. So I feel like if you have to rely on CGI to like lower the budget, dial back on the graphics a little bit to produce a cohesive, consistent product. And that's just how I feel about it. But like, yeah, I'm excited. It drops. Apparently, it drops on Thursdays because I'm looking at the new episode.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well, to listeners, don't let a little graphic hold you back in the way of enjoying a good anime. Don't be all nitpicky.
I mean, I'm still watching it, aren't I?
Nah, you might not. You like, I don't know going forward the way it looks like to me. Sound like you just was, you know, belly aching.
No, I'm on episode 4. I watched at that. It was the same issue in
Shit.
episode 1, 2, and 3. Like
Mm,
Tower of God isn't doing. Actually, it might be. I think I did notice it in Tower of God. I don't know. Maybe it's just becoming a thing.
mm-hmm. Getting cranky, I see.
That sucks. No, it just to me it doesn't look good. Like, did you like it in like when we talked about it in Overlord when they had that in the last season? They had the huge armies facing each other. Like, did that look professionally animated to you?
Yeah.
Are you trolling? Or are you being genuine?
Nah,
I feel like I feel like you're trolling right now.
it didn't make any difference to me, really.
Really?
Yeah. 'Cause
Uh,
I don't get hung up on the particulars. I'm more about the story and pushing it forward. I mean, I can give you that it may have looked weird, but I'm like, I don't really care.
hmm.
I'm not as nitpicky when it comes to certain things.
I I'm I like it sucks because like it does sound like I'm being nitpicky, but like it also looks like
It doesn't. It's
it
because
looks
you
like
are
a
being
freaking
nitpicky.
game in a cutscene, like a cutscene in a game. I don't want my anime to look like a cutscene in a game. I want my cutscene in a game to look like a cutscene in a game.
I mean, sometimes games in the cutscene be looking swell.
Sometimes, yes, but then sometimes the games actually look like games, and I don't want my animes to look like games.
Mm.
But we can talk about what you want to talk about next.
Well, I am going to talk about the wrong way to use healing magic. So, season 1, episode 8, Battalion Commander Rose. So, I do like the setup for this. They start throwing their little wagon. They're talking about all sorts of stuff, shooting the breeze. Mostly about the battle and how the demons, the demi-humans. And so she asked my boy, she's like, "Oh, are you getting cold feet, Uzuto?" And she, and this was a funny moment here. It's like, "Oh, She's like, yeah, I'm surprised a kid dragged here by mistake would be a monster like you. And he's like, a monster? You're the one that trained me. So a little bit of cuteness there, and so it's like, yeah, I really wanted to just do the training to get back at you, and this would spark her flashback. She's like, oh man, I remember another little kiddo like you that said that, and so we get the flashback memories of 5 years ago when she was training. The king notifies her battalion that there are demons in the territory, but they aren't quite hostile yet. So he's they're trying to prepare troops for deployment. And so this is when we get introduced to her first subordinate because she was in there eavesdropping. And she was like, she shows up, starts talking to Rose. Rose is all in her head thinking about what she's going to do and scouting and this, that, and the other. Like, why are the demons there? And so, in the midst of talking to Rose, Rose like, "Shut up!" and she like knocks her on the head. I was like, "Huh." That's how it starts. So, and then yeah, they start talking. They walk back to the crew because she doesn't oversee the crew daily anymore. She handed off to her VC. Her name was Owl. I think that's yeah, it's like Owl, but it's weird pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so start training. She's like, yeah, I gotta whip you back into shape like it's 1786. Because she's like, you're getting hurt doing this, that, and the other, the stuff, and whatnot. So yeah. So a week later, she meets with the king again. She's like, demons are hunting on human lands. She's like, there's like 10 to 30 demons out there. It's like, I want you to go investigate because you're strong, fast, and you're healers, so you should be good to go out there. And they spend the night in the forest and pretty much decide to head west. Trust the instincts after all the frolicking through the forest. And so her vice captain, after they set up Overwatch and whatnot, camp for the night, she's like, hey, why'd you choose me? It's like, yeah, no one wants to follow her. And it's like, I don't see why I was captain because of my flaws. And she basically talks about her flaws and why she thinks she doesn't make a good captain, which not really valid per se, but like it's more of like a character feeling inadequacy. And they gotta show that in order for her to actually have Rose to say something about it and why she believes she makes a good vice captain.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't talk about the first day they met. It was like, yeah, her toughness and her strength. And she's like, you dealt with my brazenness as a leader and my knowledge in the orders, even though I didn't like them. And so there's a little heartfelt, touching moment. Starts talking, and she's like, yeah, I remember the time that I disobeyed one of your orders and you knocked me out because she's like, I tried to get you back and you knocked me out. It's like, only reason I knew was because I woke up and you told me. I was like, that was a major whooping. So, so yeah, Al's the woman that prompted the flashback, and now they're about to go fight some demons. But everyone in the group, they were all listening to it. And it's like, yeah, we believed in you, and we do this, that, and the other, and we trust you as our leader. So she got the reassurance and validation that she was inherently looking for. So yeah, yeah. She says she's the only one that understands her, and the group understands her, and they get her. So that's why she wants Rose to lead. But Rose like, yeah, I chose the right one for the job. They lead and trust you, and yeah, you always keep your eyes forward no matter the circumstance, and people will follow people like that. So then they set off. They discover some tracks in the forest. The demons are capturing all the animals. They do some chit chat with the demons. It's like, yeah, this wouldn't be a mission I normally do, capture these beasts. But he's like, hey, the king wanted this. And it's like, now since you've seen us, I can't let you live. So she's like, I'll take the reins of leadership. I'm going to go fight this strong demon by myself. And so the demon starts fighting. They run away, do some battle in the forest. And this is when Rose, she's like, she kicked him far and he started running. She started chucking trees at her. I was like, oh man, that's a whole tree just rah, like a javelin. I was like, whew, that girl's strong. So then she taps into, well, he traps her in this little wind funnel, and she taps into her wind, and it's like a Simban wall, and she just walks through. He's like, oh, you're a healer and all that tremendous strength. She's like, what a monster. So I was like, yeah. So that's pretty much it. They all start pulling out their swords and they clash, and yeah, they do that old cliche, two sides meet in the middle and one is left standing. It all ends. So that was that. Nice little episode there.
It was.
Yeah. Don't mind the flashback, waiting for another one.
Oh, they got to finish the flashback.
Yeah, I know. With the CGI and whatnot.
To see. No, I don't think I've noticed CGI in that show.
Yeah, you haven't noticed it.
Yeah,
I'm just trolling now.
Yeah, I don't think I've noticed the blocky, stiff movement.
I was just trolling you, dog.
It's all good. I understand.
No, it's not. You ain't understand.
I understand.
You didn't. You never understood. But yeah,
Always understood.
Continue.
All right, so Kaiju number 8, episode 12, the season finale, Kafka Hibino. A lot goes on, but not like a lot to put into words. So we're gonna recap this episode, and we're going to hopefully have a nice.
Words.
What's up?
I said I put a lot into words.
I mean, you could.
I'm trolling. Just keep going.
We're gonna recap this episode. We're gonna give a synopsis of what goes down, and then me and Irby are gonna react to the entire season, and like thoughts and opinions, and if we're looking forward to it, blah blah blah, whatnot. So yeah, let's get into it. We continue the fight between Kaiju, out of control Kaiju Kafka, and Shinomiya's father, the defense force captain or general. And the longer the fight goes on, the stronger Kafka seems to be getting, the more control he seems to be out, and the bigger it seems to be getting. And it's starting to wear on Shinomiya's dad. And at some point in the middle of the battle, it just became... It wasn't Kafka versus her dad. It was Kaiju number 2 versus Kaiju number 8. And it was just the aura of both kaijus fighting each other. And like, since Kafka was in kaiju form, and I guess since her dad was only utilizing the Kaiju number 2's spirit, I'll say,
His hide or pelt, I would say.
He couldn't physically keep up with the battle that was going on. Like, I feel like Kaiju number 2 could have, if he had a form like Kafka, he would be able to keep up, but like, I think the fight was wearing on the human part of him. And like, we already know that like the suit does like takes a toll, almost like I feel like earlier Shippuden Naruto's Jujuriken Nine-Tails cloak, like how it burn off the skin at some point.
Yeah.
Like, it made him stronger, but like it also damaged him at the same time. So like, the fight continued, and honestly, he could have ended Kafka a couple times, but it seemed like we were being led to believe that like he was trying to see like I guess what his daughter saw. He wanted to give him a chance to be human, and like Kafka was really struggling, really struggling on the inside, looking out, and it's like, no, I can't do that to her. I can't be the reason she loses her dad. And like she was very conflicted, and like obviously she was worried about her dad, but like she also wanted Kafka to like pull through because like he's been so nice to her and he saved her once or twice, and like you develop that bond. So Kafka started fighting a lot more and like finally like breaking free of like whatever grasp he was in, and that thing that turned him into a kaiju. First of all, real quick, I want to say this.
Quicker.
Explain this to me. The kaiju form of Kafka is just an external skin that goes over his body. Correct or incorrect?
Probably correct.
Okay, so I want to know A, how big is he outside that this thing that was the size of his head maybe in the first episode is now a freaking giant and can swallow him whole? Cuz like I don't want to think, I don't want to believe that Kafka shrunk inside the kaiju. Like he has the body of a human and has the powers of a kaiju, but his human body itself is the human body. It has nothing special about it other than the fact that it can transform into a kaiju when like he wills it. But the kaiju form is in place. He's about to be eaten by this thing, and he's like the size of a grape. Can you explain that to me in a way that makes sense?
It could be all in his mind.
Okay, that plausible. All right, carry on. So Kafka, he's like about to break free, and then like he ends up being swallowed by. Well, we see him about to be swallowed by that thing that turned him into a kaiju, and like it ate him and left him without legs. So he's sinking into this abyss. His kaiju form starts going more mad and like wailing into. He wants to really wail into Shinmu's dad, and he starts like thinking to himself like, I wanted to have some hope, but like I guess he's gone. And Kafka is like sinking deeper into the abyss, but like he saw light, and like what finally pulled him through was his desire to be by Mina's side. So right before he swung, he redirected his fist and like I guess he like either damaged his heart or tried to crush his heart because he'd rather die human. He said he'd rather die human than live as a kaiju or something along those lines. And then he collapsed. So once he collapsed, I think Shinami's dad's right hand man, Nudomi, he's called, with a gnarly looking cool weapon, was ready to finish him off, but like her dad told him to back off, and like he said he was getting worried, and thought like Shinami's dad was trying to kill himself because like he refused the signal for backup multiple times. So they interviewed Mina on Kafka, and they said like what she says in this meeting won't affect her decision whatsoever, which I believed. But she did what she said she was gonna do. She was gonna make a compelling argument for him because she does still care about him and like the kind of person he is. She knows the kind of person he is, and Kafka wakes up in the hospital next to Shimu's dad, and he he immediately feels relieved that he didn't kill Kikuru's dad, and he gives Kafka the news that like listen, you're a kaiju. You can't be human because if you were human, would have that heart wouldn't have survived what you did. But at the very least, I convinced them to let you fight for us on like a UG kind of thing going on. So you will be watched. Your moves will be watched. You need to handle that. So Mina got the news. Mina texted to Kikuru, and then like it started going around the entire eighth squad, or third squad,
Brick Squad.
and everyone was relieved. They were happy, but like the vice captain knew, like, hey, now he's gotta do his stuff. So the last thing we got before the season ended was Kaiju number 9 was playing like
Yes.
15 people at once in chess, and he said like he finally learned like the extent of humanity's capabilities and how they think and like how they strategize. So it's time to move on to the next phase of the plan, and time to bring the kaiju power that fell to a human's hand back to our side. End season.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good season. I enjoyed it.
Good season. Now, how do you feel about the show overall? What do you think like the potential of the show is?
I mean, obviously they're still making a manga of it, so show should get some episodes.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. But like, um, I'm thinking like in terms of like, do you think it could be like potentially next new big three?
No, I don't think there'll be a new big three.
Well, it's generational. I've learned that like the big three is generational because like if we say big three, um, I don't want to speak for you, but like we say big three, I think Bleach, One Piece, Naruto. Is that where you're at?
No, I think Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, and Naruto.
Okay, well that's you trolling. That's incorrect.
Is it though?
Yes, the term
Mm,
big three is created and like came from the biggest three selling mangas of that time, which Dragon Ball was not on that list. It was Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach leading the sales. That's why they were deemed the big three. Now, I'm not saying they're better than Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is the father of all of this. Akira inspired all of them to do what they're doing, and some could argue that anime and manga would not be as big as they are now without Dragon Ball. But I had to look it up because I saw some people say at some point that My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and there was one more. I forget the third one, but they were the big three. So I had to look up the big three to find confirmation as to why the term big three came about. And it is the three dominating. Oh, Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer was the third one. It was One Piece, originally One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach because they dominated the manga sales. Now, if you want to make a new big three, you have to exclude One Piece from it, even though it's up there in the charts because it's part of the original. You have to go like the new one. That's why it was like My Hero, Demon Slayer, and Black Clover because like My Hero for obvious reasons was very popular. Demon Slayer with all the animations and the cool fighting really popular. And it was a little hard for me to see Black Clover as a big three candidate, but like at the same time, it's like okay, I can see where like how people would get this up there. So with that in mind, so like considering it's generational, like it's not going to be for us, but Do you think with how the current standards and like people had My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, and Black Clover as a big three, do you think Kaiju number 8 has potential to be a big three of its era?
Hmm, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
No
thank you for that
idea.
insightful opinion, Irby.
Yeah, very insightful. But yeah, no, if based on your definition, you'd have to include One Piece in there. So yeah, everything's mute and null and void.
Yeah, you'd have. All right, so just for shits and gigs, I'm gonna look up best selling mangas currently. All right, so the current. I don't know if I'm reading. I'm supposed to be reading this from left to right or like going. I'm gonna assume it's up and down. So right now it's One Piece, My Hero, and Spy Family. Spy Family was a little surprising to me right now.
Well, I can see Spy Family being one, just because the times are changing, and it gives you a little bit of action with cuteness and um yeah, the landscape is just changing a little bit. I
Now,
can see that. So
in interesting enough, the big three in year 22-23 was Blue Lock. Blue Lock's a great show. Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece.
I can see Jujutsu being one, but not with this recent events.
I feel like Jujutsu is probably losing a lot of fans right now.
I also feel like the end's coming soon.
The end is coming, and that's probably like they're slowly approaching the end. So like I feel like only the people really invested are gonna get there. Like they probably dropped some readers in the process of this wrapping this up.
Yeah.
All right, so Kaiju number 8. Let's wrap it up. Are you looking forward to the next season, or are you thinking about reading the manga? How did how did it leave you?
I'll probably end up just reading the manga.
If you had to rate it between 1 and 10,
Maybe
uh,
like a 7 or 8.
I was thinking like an 8.5, like an 8 number, but like not high 8.
Yeah, I mean it was a show that kept you interested. So I was like, yeah, I can do that.
I might have to like re reinstate, I guess is the word I'm going to use for lack of a better one. My shonen subscription cuz like I kind of want to read the first few chapters and see how it compares to anime, like see if I notice anything different.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Well, you can read like chapters on free on there
But
anyway.
it's only like the beginning few and then like the last few.
So, yeah, I mean, but each week the episodes shift up, so
Mhm.
you'd be good to go.
But I'll be missing everything in the middle.
I mean, is it all that important?
I mean,
I mean, I feel like you could hop in a One Piece right now and be just fine.
you wouldn't you cannot do that.
Says who?
You cannot do that.
I don't know. I think I could hop in there and be just dandy.
I feel like a impatient person, not an impatient person, but like a person who can't commit to the episode count, could potentially hop in post time skip and just figure out what's happened pre time skip through some flashbacks and paying attention to the story. You could
That's
probably
what
piece
I'm
those together, and then like you'll be to the point where like it's just action and funny, and there's no like the world's already built. Now they're just they're looking now they're
That's what I said many episodes ago. I was like, y'all just want to hop in at like 419. That's what you need to get in. And you were like, no, no, you can't do
No, they
that.
shouldn't. I don't think they should. But like, if they did, then like they
Yeah.
probably you probably could get the gist of the story if you started post time skip. You probably could. If you paid attention, if you really paid attention, you can probably figure things out. Or if you just watched the movies, the recap movies, you can save yourself a lot of time as well.
Or you see yourself even more time by not even attempting it.
Or you can wait for the One Piece re re revamp. What do you call it? What do you call a show that's coming out with a? It's weird. They're coming out with another version of One Piece before it even finishes. But like, what do you call that?
Readaptation.
I guess
Yeah.
it's gonna feel weirder too, not hearing the normal voices.
Um, why wouldn't they have the normal voices?
I don't think they're gonna have the normal voices
Why not?
because the voice actors these voice actors already work on like multiple projects. And like the One Piece is still going. You think they're gonna do the voices for Oda's One Piece and Netflix's One Piece?
Oh, you talking about the live animation?
No, no. Netflix is doing another anime where they're recapping the story. They're I think they're shortening the series overall.
Hmm.
I think they're making it like instead of like the One Piece size, maybe it's like the totality of Naruto length.
Yeah, that was a perfectly adequate amount of episodes for Naruto. And right when it should.
I mean,
Perfect,
it's still
not
going if
too
you count
long.
Boruto.
Nah, Boruto's a whole separate animal.
Ah, same characters, different. You put a different name on the title.
But I would say they have. I would say if anything, it'd be a crossover episode. But
Uh,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it all should be categorized under the same thing because like just because you have different characters doesn't mean you have a different product, right? I mean, it's like all the JoJo Bizarro seasons don't have the same main characters as far as I heard.
that's not really true per se. Um, they they're always what. Yeah, what happens is I think the first two it was like the three same Joseph, but then like the main character always comes back in, and then it's kind of like they're like one A and one B,
Hmm.
but it's just from like a different look see loo. Like they kind of split them a little bit, but not really. But yeah, it's still JoJo's still good though.
I gotta find. I gotta get
You,
into
you
it at some
not
point.
you won't.
I will.
You're not about
Since we
to
mentioned Boruto, you want to get into it, or do you want to say Boruto and do Jujutsu real quick?
yeah, you do jujutsu real quick.
Bro, I can't remember Jujutsu. If you want me to do Jujutsu real quick.
Yeah, well, I do the Boruto because I give it more justice, or I get to do them both.
Hold on. I'll just open. I just gotta open up Jujutsu real quick. Hold on.
Mm,
I'll remember it
mm,
as I see it.
you might.
By the way, speaking of My Hero Academia that I mentioned earlier, it's coming to an end within the next few chapters.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, it's wrapping up. All right, so this was chapter 263.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sukuna was looking a little flustered going against Yuji. What's homie's name in Gojo's body?
But Okatsutu or Yuta?
Yuta
Yeah,
and Boogie Woogie homie.
boogie oogie boogie.
But the problem was they were counting on Yota to last a little longer in Gojo's body. And Yota was counting on himself to last a little longer in Gojo's body, but he just collapsed. But The show must go on, so Yuji started using some black flashes. Boogie Woogie guy started swapping places. They were trying to confuse Sukuna as much as possible. And at some point, uh, Yuji was also like doing this move called Dismantle. He was trying to wake up Fushiguro. Um, and at some point, like the damage started to accumulate. Sukuna like was in danger of losing, and the most dangerous person to him right now is Yuji, because of that of how he's able to consistently use Black Flash that much. Um, and the it's really gonna come down to the mind games. It seems like with the Boogie Woogie and like Yuji, and then like Angel Girl showed up, and it turns out Yutu's plan was to like have her distract him at the end. She didn't have to fight. She just needed to pull his attention, because the true power of the Yuta's copy ability is that there's two Jokers. And you could hold two of the same card in your hand, he said. So we're gonna see what he means by that specifically next chapter.
Yep. Yeah. All right. I'm going to get into Boruto.
Get into
2
Boruto,
Blue
man.
Vortex, chapter 12.
Good chapter.
Yeah. So the fight from last time it's starting up, and so Konohamaru is like, Boruto, what are you plotting here like this? You're here like you're still part of the Leaf. I'm like, oh man, yeah. If he wasn't here, Sarada be dead, and you probably be bleeding out right now. And so there's a sensory unit guy there, and Boruto's like, hey, let me know if the claw marks get any chakra. Keep an eye on them. And the sensory guy's like, it's like, you think I should listen to you or something? And I'm like,
I don't take orders
whatever.
from you.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever happened to the enemy of my enemy is my friend, you know? Like, it just out of nowhere. So, yeah.
I mean, their defense, they think he killed Naruto, so it's fucking for life.
Yeah, I mean, but still, like, I ain't gonna sit there and die.
Yeah, you have to analyze the bigger threat in the situation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kill myself because
Cause I want to be petty.
I hate you. Yeah, no, you would.
Nah, I wouldn't.
You would.
Yo, don't put that on my name, bro.
100% you would. You'd be like,
100% I would not.
I'd kill myself if I do that. Yeah, so I see it. But anyhow, they find out that they actually want to like take Sarada's chakra and whatnot, and so they figure out that the guy's moveset is related to Sasuke, and it's because of the divine tree, and Boruto fills them in a little bit on why the chakra signature is Sasuke's and why he looked like Sasuke and all his. And this one, Konohama's like, oh, kind of like what Mowogi is going into. It's like, how do you know that? He's like, I'll tell you later. And so they get surrounded by claw marks. The tree creatures pop out. And I thought this was a nice touch of how Pseudo Sasuke used the tree creatures slash mark to come out and grab Sarada. I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch. And Boruto does the Rasengan in the back like his grandfather. I was like, oh, snap. So, yeah. And Boruto's like, I got to end this in one hit because it's too much. And he's like, I'm going to use Uzuhiko again. And Sarada's like, what's that? And so he gives her the rundown how it's earth energy, and he has to like, she's like, let's get in the air and fly, Boruto. And he's like, I can't, because in order to do that, I need to have contact with the earth so that I can feel its pulsing energy. And so she's like, yeah, buy me some time. And another creature comes out and goes to attack Boruto, and Konohama uses Rasen Barrier, which I do want to say some stuff yeah, they're so innovative now with all the different jutsus. That I would love to see how the old style of jutsus developed throughout the times. Like they should do a whole little a side little book note of that stuff or something. It'd be something cool to explore
You know what
because
I don't like? I'm sorry. Finish what you were saying.
yeah. So it'd be cool just to see how it graduated because Konohama he came up with like a defensive barrier and all the stuff that they could have utilized, but they didn't even know at those times. I feel like they're still in the infancy of inventing jutsu, kind of, sort of.
Hmm.
But yeah, what don't you like?
I don't like the
It
Kono.
doesn't matter what you don't like. No,
I
I'm
don't
just kidding.
like that Konohamaru has different versions of the Rasengan.
I don't know what you
Um,
like.
and I'll explain. I'll try to explain more clearer as to why. Okay, so the fourth Hokage was supposed to be the strongest Hokage prior to Naruto. Naruto being the strongest because he mastered Sage Mode. He had the Nine Tails, and he had that other thing that him and Sasuke inherited.
Sage mode.
No, the thing him and
Hmm.
Sasuke got wasn't Sage Mode. It was the thing with the balls.
Sage sits path.
That
Chakra.
it might be that, yeah. So like that explains why Naruto was stronger than the fourth. But prior to Naruto becoming stronger than the fourth, the whole thing that led into the Rasen Shuriken was Kakashi teaching Naruto that the jutsu was so hard the fourth couldn't complete it, but Naruto has the chakra reserves to complete it. I don't think canonically Konohamaru should have the ability to complete a Rasengan of his own because it makes it seem like he surpassed the fourth Hokage.
I don't think it wasn't based on the whole um it wasn't based on the chakra because it wasn't in Naruto had enough chakra to do it. I think it was the fourth Hokage actually made the Rasengan and then he ended up um he ended up dying before he perfected it. That makes sense because the original one I think was he got the idea about the Chidori and then he he modeled the Rasengan off of the Tail Beast Bomb, but he never got a chance to do the change in chakra nature for it.
I'm just going off of that could be possible. I'm just going off of what I remember Kakashi telling Naruto in the English dub.
Yeah, he was saying because the fourth Hokage he picked up because Jiraiya showed him the jutsu and he picked it up quicker than Jiraiya did because he's like it's 3 years and then it's the change of chakra, not change chakra, it was 3 years and he picked it up in less than a year. So that's why he was touted as a genius. So yeah, I think. But originally, if he was looking at it, Konohamaru never would have did a Rasengan if he wasn't able to use shadow clones. So that helped him out too.
Right, he couldn't use it without Shadow Clones before, right?
Yeah. So also growing up and maturing and aging, you learn how to wield the chakra and whatnot differently. So I think that what helped him to do one, and then your understanding of information, the way chakra flows, and the techniques can allowed for advancement in training. Because I feel like at this point, Konohamaru's, I think he's probably a little older than Minato. I feel like it's
Hmm.
26 or something. Well, he might be older than that because I feel like Konohamaru was like 13 or 13 or 14 when Naruto ended, and Boruto's like Boruto's 16, so he might be closer to 30.
Yeah, the timelines in these shows get a little wonky sometimes.
Yeah, it happens though. Not much you can do.
Not at all. But yeah, Konohamaru, continue.
Yeah. So then Sarada is about to get attacked again. She uses the Chidori stream. And so Boruto, he unleashes an attack. The Hiko gets Pseudo Sasuke, blows him like half body off, looking like a Geodude. And Kawaki comes in and finishes him off. And this is when a little thorn soul ball pops out. And Boruto grabs it. And Kawaki says, "What are you doing here, Boruto? What's this? What is that? La la la." And Boruto's like, "Yeah, it's needed to save my master." He's like, "Let go of me, or else I'll cut your arm off." And I was like, "Who? Cut the arm, buddy."
Cut it.
I was like, "Cut it. You need to cut it."
I was so hoping he cut it, bro. I really was.
Yeah. And so, next thing you know, it's Ricky! Bloom! I was like, oh, snap.
Snap it to a Slim Jim.
What happened there? Yeah, he got shot. And Kawaki's like, oh, Delta, status report. Tell me what's going on. He's like, wow, he's taking shots from that far away? And I was like, yeah, he couldn't even see them. And so Sarada goes to grab the bulb because he's pulling the bulb back to him, and she gets shot in the arm. I was like, ooh. And then the bulb continues to fly off. And the Otsutsuki in the sky, he's like, oh, that Boruto is too dangerous. He knows about the tree and the bulb. He's like, we got to get rid of him. It's like, Kawaki should be enough fodder for the Otsutsuki. And I was like, oh, man. And Boruto's laying on the ground leaking. He didn't really hit any vital organs, so my boy Boruto, he can make a Kardashian. So, yeah, excited about that. What a time to be alive.
Good episode, good episode. Now we gotta wait another month, sadly.
Yeah. Another month of the time. I think it's 26 days.
Them months be killing me, bro. I'd rather you give me quarters of that chapter weekly.
Nah, I ain't about that life. I'll wait a month.
Got to.
Because I'm patient.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. You definitely aren't.
So you got anything else you want to talk about, big guy?
Nah, not really.
All right, then.
Yeah, let me say this though. The boy. He's I want to call him emo Naruto with Sasuke persona.
Who?
No, you'll get it later. But yeah, you can go ahead and wrap this thing on up.
Who?
No, it's all right. You'll get it later. Go ahead and wrap this thing on up, King.
Who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you'll get it later.
Talking about Sakura?
It'd be a eureka moment.
Talking about Sakura from Windbreaker?
Yep.
Ah, so you did watch it.
I told you to talk about it. You didn't want to talk about it, so we ain't talking about it.
You be giving mixed signals, dog.
Do I?
I'm just gonna go straight. You can give mixed signal. I ain't turning.
Well, it'd be like that then. Go ahead and wrap it on up, dog.
That's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you like, comment. If you like what you hear, comment, share us, and we'll catch you next week.